Hello again, and here we are today in my local bike shop. It's called Hammer and Tongs Performance in good old Warrington, and here I am in the dyno room. It's full of there's a drag bike there, look. There's a bike that I think's just been back from the TT. On the dyno at the moment is quite a modern looking Yamaha, just about to be dynoed, I guess. And over there we've got a KTM, what's that, an RC8, and here we have a retro GSX 11. But we're not here today to look at all this modern stuff. We're here to check out Tim's own personal bike project, which has been going on now for quite a while, so let's go and have a look at that. And here it is. It's a Harley Sportster XL 883, or at least it started off life like that. As you can see, it's had a lot of changes. Just zoom out a wee bit, and there it is. Right, okay, so here we have Tim's XL 883 Sportster Scrambler project. Been going on for quite a while now. I won't say how long, 2 or 3 years at least. But then again, with Tim being a bike shop owner, he kind of is quite busy working on other people's stuff. Yeah, as we can see, he says. But nevertheless, let's start at the beginning. It's a sort of, what, late 80s, early 90s XL 883?
I think it's a 1992 883.
Yeah. And what was the reason for you actually wanting to...
Well, I wanted to make a sort of Steve McQueen themed bike.
Yeah.
It's sort of now turned into a street scrambler.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what theme I'm going to do yet, but because I'm going to sort of improve it as it goes along.
Yeah, sort of just see how it goes.
So it's got 17-inch wheels on it, which is so that if we don't like the knobblies, we can put road tyres on it.
Yeah, make a sort of super motard type thing.
Yeah, super motard.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Or,
Now, the reason why you're into your off-road bikes is because you used to be a bit of an off-roader, didn't you?
Yeah, so I used to ride for the Army Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers Enduro team. So
yeah, and prior to that, I think we were schoolboy back in the day. You were schoolboy
crossing,
So you got that in your blood.
Being on off-road bikes most of my life.
Yeah. So let's start at the back then. That rear wheel, being a 17-incher, is obviously not standard. It's got, I believe, a standard hub.
The hub's off of the super motor.
Oh right, is it KTM?
Yeah,
KTM.
Originally a KTM.
Okay, and then...
Not the hub, sorry, the rims.
The rims.
The hubs are off of the super motor and
right.
being re-spoked.
Yeah, so you got
However, I think I'm going to... I've got a 150 on tyre on the back of this.
Yeah.
It's a little bit close to the
chain.
So I'll probably be putting a 130 on that.
Yeah, it's quite a big tyre, isn't it?
Down a bit.
So the rim on there is what? It's an aluminium... What rim is it?
It's just alloy.
Alloy, with stainless steel spokes.
Yeah, alloy rim, stainless steel spokes.
Obviously got a nice shiny gold, anodised. Is that a Renthal?
So we've got a Renthal sprocket on it.
Yeah.
It's a Metromex.
Aluminium swing arm. Yeah. Let me zoom in on that.
Anymore, so
oh,
it's
right.
probably quite unique.
Yeah. And then
makes it look nice and chunky, like a motor.
Like it should do, and it's a lot lighter too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and them shocks look a bit cool. So what are they?
These shocks are progressive.
Yeah.
But if you pause that for a minute.
Yep. Right. Okay, go.
So these are progressive piggyback shocks.
Yeah.
13.5 inch.
And very nice they are too. Let's see.
I've got some K-Tech ones, but K-Tech have now come out with this bullet shock, which is an air shock.
Oh.
So this is a new development from K-Tech.
Yeah, and you're a K-Tech dealer.
K-Tech premier dealer. Yeah.
Yeah,
so this is based on, if you can remember the old 80s twin shock Hondas and GP bikes used to have air shocks, Fox shocks on them.
Right.
So they used to have air cooling fins around the body.
Yeah, cool.
So I thought these might look quite nice on here. 13.5 inches.
Okay.
So
and does that mean those old shocks now going spare?
Those
which may be up for sale to a certain good customer of yours.
Correct.
Like me. So that's great.
We've kept the standard brake reservoir on there, although I didn't
the standard
really
peg position. Yeah, you got the standard
peg
position.
But I wanted the standard peg position works quite well with the sitting position. So
Yeah.
We put motocross pegs on,
Yeah.
billet pegs.
Yeah.
And then what we've done here is we've taken the standard brake lever
Yeah.
and drilled and filed it.
Oh, I thought that was an aftermarket one.
No, that's
cool.
all been drilled and filed to make it nice and light.
Okay. As has your front sprocket cover.
And it's got a front sprocket cover.
That's been machined.
That's been drilled and filed as well. And
Yeah.
this pattern is based on a pair of Crocs.
All right. Okay.
I had a pair of Crocs with a pattern in the front on top over your toes.
Which you liked?
That was the pattern.
Right.
So we cut the Crocs up, drew it on there, and then cut it out.
Well, that's something different. That's pretty unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
So we're debating whether to cut off
that lower level.
that lower part there.
Yeah.
We're still debating that. We've got braided hoses on here, but I'm not sure that I like them yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then going forward a wee bit. I'll just stop there. Yeah. We'll stop there. I'll move the camera, and then we'll carry on.
Right.
Okay. So here we are at the front of the bike. Tim's just popped off to do some work, so I'm going to stay behind and continue talking about the bike. At the bottom there, we've got an aluminium one-off oil tank. Normally the oil tank sits below the seat, but it's been moved, as you can see, to sit below the frame rails. Looks a little bit exposed, but I think it's going to get a grille to protect it there at the front. Looking at the front of the bike, you've got a KTM front wheel with a big knobbly on it, and those forks are from a Suzuki GSX, I think it's a GSX 750 K7, I think, but don't quote me on that. The yokes are one-off billet, and we've also got those Renfrew bars with one-off risers too. The mudguard there is actually steel mudguard. It's been cut out and shaped from the original Sportster front mudguard. And looking at the hand controls, they're all different from standard Harley. You've got a different throttle, you've got ASV levers, which are unbreakable. They actually bend up rather than break. The master cylinders for the brake and the clutch, I think, are from a Honda VFR 800, which have been refinished in a special coating by Camcoat. I did say master cylinders because it's got two of them. Standard Harleys have a cable clutch, there goes the phone, but this has got a hydraulic clutch conversion, and rather than use the standard master cylinder that you get with the conversion, he's gone for a matching set. And looking at the bodywork, that's a later model Sportster tank. This bike originally had the peanut tank, a smaller tank, and he's gone for a later, I think it's post 95 tank, which is bigger and a slightly different shape, which has also got an aero cap on it rather than a standard cap. The seats are one-off, it's got an aluminium base, it's been upholstered, and the rear mudguard is again a cut down original from the original bike. And although it's not finished yet, it's going to have side panels, they're aluminium, as you can see it's just stuck on for now because it still needs tabs welding on the frame to finish it off. One reason for moving the oil tank was because that allows more space beneath the seat, and normally you've got an oil tank on one side and a big battery on the other side, but now that's all going to be enclosed and the electric's going to live there. We can do that because he's got the oil tank at the front of the bike now, and he's using a lithium battery, that little thing there. Let's just zoom in on that. That's a ballistic battery. I've got one on one of my bikes. It's fantastic, tiny little thing, very light, and as you can see it's sitting in a one-off aluminium box which will be attached to the frame at some point soon. And looking at the exhaust system, it's stainless steel. This is kind of like a Mark 1 version. It may change in the future depending on how it runs. Personally, I think it probably won't run too well if he puts a big cam in it, but we'll wait and see. The guy owns a dyno, so I'm sure he can sort that out for himself. It's made, as you can see, from separate pieces of stainless steel tubing and bends, and you can see the welds that are still visible there. They could be lineaged out, but for now I think it's just left like that. It may, I think, end up with a bigger baffle on it, maybe a combined 2-into-1. It all depends how it runs when it's complete. Now the engine is a standard 883 at the moment, but since Tim owns a bike shop with a dyno attached, he's into performance, that's going to get bored out to a good, I think it might be a 1250 conversion with some hot cams, and God knows what else. So it should end up being quite a powerful bike. And it looks a bit tricky for me to film the far side of the bike because it's jammed in amongst all these other bikes. We can see it's got a new floating disc at the front there. I think that's an EBC, but don't quote me on that. And it's retained the Tokiko monoblock caliper with, of course, braided hoses. And going up a little bit, we didn't mention it's got this aluminium plate, number plate at the front, but that will probably be drilled and Tim will fit a small headlamp to it. I'm not sure yet. I think he's not sure yet if he's going to go for that or maybe just run it with a daylight only MOT. We'll see. And as we look at this bike now, I do have some photographs of it when it first arrived in its original state, so I'll put those photographs up now. Here they are. And later on, of course, it got modified and modified and modified. So again, I've got a couple more photographs of the bike as it evolved and changed. So I'll pop them up now and you can have a look at that. And here they are. And now we've spun the bike round and we can see the rear caliper mount and EBC disc. That's actually for a Harley because it's a Harley hub. So it doesn't quite match the front, but I'm sure that can be sorted out by re-anodizing the centre or something. That's a one-off mount there for a single pot, brand new Brembo caliper. I like these because I've got one on my bike. And going forward a wee bit, we can see, let me just move the camera, and we can see how the bike's now got a huge hole where the battery and oil tank used to be, and that's where the, where's it gone? And this big hole here is where this ballistic lithium-ion battery will live at some point, something like that, and then there'll be an aluminium cover there. And I think that's about it for that particular bike. It still needs engine work, it still needs some welding on the frame, which will happen when it comes apart. I'm not sure what colour it's going to be or what kind of style it's going to be.
Well,
Tim's behind me right now.
until I've tuned it with that exhaust.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying you may actually end up changing that exhaust pipe depending on the results you get.
Might put a little back box on it.
Yeah, a little back box with maybe a sort of
retro
chip pan grill on it, you know,
yeah.
That sort of retro 60s or 70s style. Yeah, yeah. Well, Tim, owning a bike shop's been very busy. You can hear him now working behind me on a ZZR, whatever it is. So I've had to stand in and chat away for the last 10 minutes, and hopefully you can appreciate the work that went into that particular bike. And one day, God knows when, I'll come back and we'll film it finished and hopefully running on the dyno.
Come down to my new house.
Yeah, yeah. Before you get your tank, because
yeah.
Tim's into tanks as well. Tim wants to buy a tank, but maybe that'll be another day.
Might have to just make do with doing that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Right. Well, thanks for that, and cheers.